When you watch such a big film a month after its release, because of all that drama that happened with the OTT window and because of that the national chains are not putting it out, you watch the film with a very different perspective because you're not watching it in a vacuum where you have no idea what people think or how the film is received. You have a lot of context through all the discussions, reviews and discourse online. Of course, you don't get spoilers and get into the plot details, but you get the audience reaction to that film. And that can influence your mind and make you biased. Leo is the best film in LCU. Leo is the worst film in LCU. The interval movement is so great. The second half sucks. The backstory is fake actually. Even Lokesh confirmed it. But is it? Now, how I approach the film is to be open and have a closer look to find out why there was a mixed reception. And I found that Lokesh tried to fool us, the audience. How? I'll explain that. Hello guys, I'm Nona Prince and finally it has happened. I've watched Leo. It's been such a journey and I have to say I'm a bit upset from the makers. Not just because of what happened theatrically, but even the OTT release with Netflix. There was some problem with the audio. A lot of moments in the film where text appears on screen, there's no subtitles for that. And this is a big part of Tamil cinema which I'm going to talk about in another video. But right now, let's talk about Leo, and for that we'll talk about the director Lokesh Kanagaraj. Because LCU is his brainchild. I'm guessing most of you watching this video have already seen the movie, so if you have, then only continue watching because there'll be spoilers ahead. He's a great director without doubt. He's a genre setter. The way he sets up his stories, the way he builds them up in the first half, he's so good at it. It's just brilliant. But second half, I'm not sure. Now, if you don't know my thoughts on his previous films, Kethi and Vikram, both of them are very well made films, but I had issues with them too. Now, the statement that Lokesh was lazy for this film or just wanted to recreate his success with his previous films, sorry, but I disagree with that. He's actually not trying to do anything he has done before. Because the easy way would have been just make a Master 2. But he didn't do that. He made Dio and made it part of his LCU. And those connective threads are really good. With this film, we were promised that it will be 100% Lokesh Kanagaraj film. And that's what we heard from him in the interviews. That's what we got from the trailer. It was so different than anything we have seen before. From Lokesh as well as from Vijay. But the problem is, what is 100% Lokesh? How do you define that? Maybe you compare it with his previous films like Managram or Vikram, that Lokesh has a full control on the narrative. That he doesn't have to pander to the image of the hero. And with Leo, he did that but in his own way. His attempt was to play with the audience. He made the film very meta. You ask how? Let me explain that. Leo in the film is actually Lokesh Kanagaraj himself. How Leo is refusing his identity and hiding as Parthi. Similarly, Lokesh is hiding that this film is a hero film. And how does he do that? With that really solid first half, where we get no vibe of a hero film. But later, as the truth is revealed in the second half, that Parthi is Leo, we find out that this film, which was promised not to be a hero film and being very different, is actually a hero film. Isn't that meta? Where the hero is doing these cool stuff, he's taking down so many people at once. This concept is so smart. But, and there's a big but, that the execution of this concept failed miserably. And how did that happen? Let's break it down step by step. First, we get the setup, which is done so brilliantly. First, we see this world, this town, there's a looming threat, and then we see this family, this middle-aged character who saves the village from a hyena. What a wonderfully crafted sequence. We don't get to see these kind of sequences. This elaborate VFX heavy sequence, which is not perfect but definitely sets a standard. And we as audience are given a question of morality. What would you do? Would you kill someone to save someone? Will you cross that line? And then we come to the build-up, where the tension keeps rising. We are approaching the breaking point when the looming threat meets this character. And we finally get the inciting incident. That morality question we had got, we see it play out on the screen. And a character commits an irreversible action and there will be consequences to that. The way that whole coffee house scene was executed was brilliant. There was so much tension. You feel worried for the characters. And when the action breaks out, it is choreographed so well. And all this leads to a character getting worried. Because now he always has to look over his shoulder because someone or the other will be coming for him. His family is in danger. And then we get a whole montage sequence where he's just getting paranoid. Accompanied so well by Anirudh's music, which was so wacky and different. And when we reach the interval point, there's a big reveal that there's a history to this character we have been seeing. And we cannot wait to dig up that. And now we come to the second half, where it's time to get into the mystery. Who is Parthi? Where does he come from? Why his aim is so good? Who is Leo? Who is Leo Das? who is a badass. And when we dive into this, we find out that the whole mystery is just so hollow. There's literally zero depth. And we see that through very ordinary flashbacks, such bland villains, and such lame backstory. Like the narrative itself takes a big hit. I couldn't believe that this is what Lokesh wrote. By the time we reached the climax, I felt like I'm watching a parody. This is not the film I started watching in the first half. And why does that happen? Because the writing is so weak that anything happening on screen becomes meaningless. You have no clue why these characters are behaving like this, acting like this, why they're committing these actions, what is motivating them. None of it is coming together. And somewhere in my mind, that line that the backstory is fake, I thought maybe it will be the saving grace. Let's wait for it. But it never happened. If you say the backstory is from an unreliable narrator because he was drunk, that actually doesn't give you anything. Because the film doesn't give you any other alternative or any other option to that narrative that makes you think, oh, maybe that was a lie and this is the truth. There needs to be a confusion. How can I assume it's unreliable narrative if there is no conflicting story? And coming to the reveal at the end that he is actually Leo Das, the badass, doesn't work at all. Because throughout the movie, you never create a doubt that maybe he is not Leo. And how would you do that? For that, you need to establish who Leo is. And that never happens because we just see him being stylish in the action scene and then doing a dance number. So there's actually no idea of what Leo is. We know who's Parthi is. And he's performing these actions which makes no sense for him to do. So you are actually convinced that he is Leo. There's never a doubt. So when the reveal happens, it means nothing. You already knew that. And honestly, with Sanjay Dutt's character and all of those people asking him constantly, accept you are Leo, accept you are Leo, accept you are Leo, even I would have said, yes, I am Leo. Just stop now. You know, right now, saying all these things, I'm like, Lokesh wrote this? The same guy who made Vikram, Kaidi, who wrote the first half of this film, wrote this in the second half? I'm really puzzled thinking this. And the thing is, Lokesh's standard is so high. You expect him to write so well that looking at this really felt like something went wrong behind the scenes. That he was trying something and it just didn't work out. And you know, that's why I think that he should, moving forward, collaborate with other writers. Because what happens, when you are writing and directing yourself, you suddenly, start living in a bubble. Of course, it's your vision and you share that vision with other technical departments. But the thing is, it's your vision and they are here just to fulfill your vision, not to tell you you're going wrong. So you need a writer, a co-writer who can challenge your thought, who can say, you are saying this, but it's not working out like this, and make your script better. See, this film is technically so well done. You cannot take away that. There are so many long takes. There are so many VFX extensive shots. The action choreography, the sound design, the editing, the music by Anirudh. But all of it means nothing because the story doesn't work. The last half hour with that chase sequence, that Home Alone sequence, then the climax action scene, I didn't feel anything because everything stopped making sense to me narrative wise. And talking about Thalapathy Vijay, this is I think my third or fourth film, I'm not sure, but this is one of his best performances I've seen. And that scene with Trisha, where I think this was the first time he had a kissing scene, but it's not about the kiss, but the other things that was happening in that moment. It could have been a stellar scene, a scene that would look awesome on the paper, that people would talk about for ages. But again, because of what happened before that and after that, there was no impact. It will be forgotten. At the end, when that call comes in and you hear the theme music of Vikram, it's very exciting. Cannot wait for them to come together. When the credits roll and we hear Leo's theme music and Vikram's theme music, together, mashed up, it does make you excited. Cannot lie. The future of LCU looks bright, but the problem is, at present, in the moment where this film as a whole should have worked, it didn't. And that is really sad. So did Lokesh fooled us? He tried, but it just didn't work. Now, do you know that when big films clash at the box office, it's actually beneficial for everyone? How? You can check out in this video. As we have big clashes coming up ahead, find out how it works behind the scenes. What do you think about Leo? Did it work for you or it didn't? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I will see you next time.